welcome to Make Your Passion Pay. I'm Luann Beekler, creator of the Make Your Passion Pay Playbook, your host and guide on this exciting journey to building joyful and successful work environments. Known as the Little Spark, I've helped countless individuals and businesses ignite their potential through transformational coaching, creating thriving businesses and joyful workplaces. I have experienced the challenges of leaving toxic workplaces and building something better. I bring firsthand wisdom to help you align your work with your values. With insights drawn from working alongside world-renowned leaders and a deep passion for community and connection, I'm here to show you how to lead with joy and purpose. Let's dive into today's episode and start making your passion pay. Welcome, everybody, to the Make Your Passion Pay podcast, where we cover the 6 C's of the playbook of making your passions pay. Those are clarity, connection, community, collaboration, creativity, and commitment. And I have with me today a former client and friend. Her name is Danielle Allen, and she is the founder of One Foot Coaching and works with Christian women in midlife who feel restless, stuck, or unsure of their calling. With a master's degree in theological studies and certifications in coaching and the Enneagram, which she'll tell us about, she combines spiritual depth with practical tools. Through her life mapping process, Danielle helps women reconnect with their identity, discern God's voice with confidence, and take small, faithful steps toward a life aligned with purpose. Welcome, Danielle.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited you're here. I was just at a spiritual retreat. I'll say a spiritual deepening retreat that now sounds super familiar or comparable to what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I'm so glad we can share it with my audience about that. But let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
This is for entrepreneurs, small business owners, people getting started in a business, giving people confidence to get into a business. And I know you've had several. So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Oh, well, how far back should we go? But so I would have been voted the least likely to become an entrepreneur when I was younger. I was shy, introverted, and I had no desire to be my own business owner. My mom was laid off in the middle of her career and ended up starting her own business. And I saw how hard she worked, and I was like, I don't know if I could do that. But little by little, I worked for a church for 10 years, and I started becoming more of a coaching leader while I was there, and really felt like there was something more for me once I was done with the church. So, um, whether you believe this or not, I felt like God tapped me on the shoulder and said, it's time to go. And I had already enrolled in coaching school and started this business called One Foot Coaching. And while I was doing that and going through coaching school and doing all the things, I also was teaching myself how to write websites. So initially, I was doing 2 businesses. I was a website designer slash copywriter, and I was also doing the coaching. And it took me several years to figure out which one was the one that leaned into my passion, which maybe we'll talk about when we did the passion test together. But so now I've settled on One Foot Coaching, and it's been an up and down roller coaster trying to figure out. When I graduated from coaching school, which is what most coaches do, they actually announced that they are here to help everyone. And while that's great, it's hard for people to narrow down on that. And so it's taken me just over time and actual coaching people and holding workshops and all different things to kind of narrow down what I do and how I help mostly women. I love to coach with women. So, yeah. So that's my journey so far.
Okay, so niching down is what you said to me, that you're niching down. So describe your perfect client.
Okay, so my perfect client is a midlife Christian woman. So faith is important to her. She really wants to get what's next for her right with God and with the world. So a lot of times these women are new empty nesters. Maybe they've been, raising their kids, maybe doing a part-time job. And now that the kids are out of the house, they have these questions of what do I do next? How do I leave a legacy? How do I make this part of my life meaningful? And yet they also tend to overthink, is this the right direction? I'm waiting for confirmation. I'm waiting for clarity. I'm waiting for something to like the burning bush, basically, if you're familiar with the story of Moses, to tell them what they should do next. And so my ideal client is that person who is just really unclear about who they were made to be, what is next. A lot of times, women will come to me and say, "I don't know who I am anymore." And so I use the tools that I have that I use are the Enneagram, which is great for self-awareness and understanding yourself, and then this life mapping tool that I've been certified in, which helps them listen to their life and the life God wants them to have, and so how God's working and how they're working. So basically, growing and discerning God's voice and then trusting their own inner gut of what's next and how they can have an impact in the life they're already living. That was long.
That's that's okay. That's awesome. I think that helped us understand, right?
Yeah.
And generally you're doing similar work to my work,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And the passion test, as you mentioned, you've been through yourself before with me, and
Hmm.
it's all about clarity, right?
Hmm.
About clarity and then connecting, and in this case, connecting to God source, right? And their
Yeah.
plan for you. And I think we should add co-creating
Hmm.
to the number of C's in my six C's, because I think that's what the world is calling for now,
Yeah.
co-creating. And in this case, you're talking about co-creating with God, but we women need to co-create with each other as well.
Yeah.
I have a
Absolutely.
I have a mentor who says, no one, but no one does this alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think sometimes, especially women, you mentioned empty nesters,
Hmm.
right? We focused on our family, 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 raising the kids, and that was our entire identity. And then poof, they're gone.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then what do I do now is what you're talking about addressing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So at that time, a lot of women feel like life is fine, but there's a restlessness, underlying restlessness, and they don't even understand a lot of times why they're restless because they are, life is fine. Life is good. Kids are good. Husband's good. Work is good, whatever that is. And so, but the restlessness is an invitation really to what's
Right.
next, out there. So, yeah.
Trying to remember the word fine as an acronym because we use it so flippantly all the time.
Mhm.
And the truth of the matter is, most people aren't really fine. So it's something like frustrated. I can't remember the I, negative and emotional,
Oh, okay.
right? I gotta look it up, but
Okay.
but I want the women out there to listen if they're
Yeah.
using that word frequently and
Yeah.
really feel that there's no sense of meaning behind it.
Hmm.
Like historically, we just say fine because we look at people and go, they don't really want to know what I have to say.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
It-
Or you think it's too much trouble to actually go into the details, right? Like,
right.
hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I always am bothered by people asking me what's new. Well, let's see. Since last week or since the last 10 years? Like, let's qualify this.
Yeah. I get that too. Yeah. It's like, what?
Right?
I don't know.
And then you go, where do I go? And fine seems similar to me in the nature that
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
begin to explain all the emotions I'm having right now. So I'll just say fine.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, that's true.
And
Hmm.
so it's just a trigger to catch yourself and go,
Hmm.
do I need to go deeper?
Hmm.
And if the person that's asking you in this moment how you're doing isn't the person for you to go deeper with, well, then perhaps a Danielle Allen with One Foot Coaching or Luann Beekler with Make Your Passions Pay would be
Right,
people you could turn to
right.
go deeper on what that is, because it is a journey of gaining clarity
Yes.
and a journey of getting to know oneself,
Hmm. Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
one's alignment with God. So the passion test is one tool, and we talk about that all the time. Well, before I move on from that, Danielle, share with the audience how you felt about your journey with the passion test.
Yeah, I actually started that journey when I was very emotional, like my world had been rocked. So I had at the time been, I kind of went light on coaching and dove into website development with a business partner, and that all fell apart really suddenly. And I was left standing there going, I don't know what I'm doing next. And so Luann and I had known each other for through some networking group, and she reached out and said, "Let's do the passion test with you." So that was a very emotional time, but it was also very helpful for me to like take a step back and go, "What is really my passion here? What am I doing because it's convenient and it'll make me money versus what is the passion that, I have in my heart that I can also make money at and not necessarily make money, but maybe just find more joy in." And so you walked me through that, and that was really eye-opening for me to realize that coaching was, one foot was really my passion, and how do I dive deeper? So you helped me dive deeper into the emotions, the sadness, the grief of like letting something go that was successful, and then moving on to something that was, you know, going to be refreshed and new. So it was really a great time for me to just do that introspection and then come out with action steps and ways to change my life the way it was. So,
Right. And
yeah.
visioning. I think the visioning is so important to well, it's kind of like discernment, right? To
Yeah.
discern between what's over here maybe making me money and what I really love and would
Mhm.
like to make me money,
Yeah.
but I'm unsure of,
Yeah.
and helps to build the bridge to taking that leap.
Hmm.
And in the weekend, I was just talking about that I was in, we talked a lot about releasing that which
Hmm.
no longer serves you. We've got to stop carrying around those things just because they were easy or comfortable or what have you, and
Yeah.
really live the life we love, is what
Yeah.
that um, the conversation was this weekend, and really owning what you love. And we say in the passion test, that which you love to do and what is God's will for you are one and the same thing.
Yeah. I love the aspect of releasing because I think no matter what we do, if we're going to follow that passion and we're going to live that out, we have to release some things. And yeah, and I had to too. And so thank you. The process was great for me and really solidifying and built confidence in me that this was the right next step for me. So,
Yeah, and we haven't talked for a couple of years, and so I'm so pleased to see you holding strong in your one foot coaching business. That's
yeah.
exciting, right?
Yeah.
And it is things like the passion test, the Enneagram, and the other tools that we use, Danielle and I, that help build that confidence, that resilience to stick with it.
Mhm.
And if you are faith-based individual, it's walking in faith
Yeah.
that it will all work out, that it will
Mhm.
all work out. So tell the folks about the Enneagram. I don't think that's as common in the world as some others, but it's super powerful. And I've been through the Enneagram with Danielle.
Yeah, so I picked up the Enneagram when I was a new coach. A lot of coaches pick up some kind of assessment that is like the foundation of what they do. And I found out about it through Instagram of all places. But the more I learned, the more I loved because the Enneagram is really known as a personality typing system. And there are 9 types, but the whole idea, there's so many different ways of looking at personality. And the Enneagram looks at it through the lens of why do I do what I do? So it kind of can help you understand your natural strengths, but also when you overdo your strengths, it helps you understand kind of I'd like to call them life strategies, but when we were all young, we picked up a life strategy of how we can find success, significance, love. And so we kind of barrel in on that, and each type has a different one. And so what I found helpful is that a lot of times we do these repeated patterns of behavior, and the Enneagram kind of exposes that and helps us understand that and helps us understand what, like, to grow beyond this point, what do I need to either release or embrace through that typing system. So I really love to use it as more of a self-awareness, emotional intelligence piece to my coaching. I'm actually right now offering just a one-off discernment session where we focus on how does your type affect how you discern God's voice and your faith, and then courage moving forward. So, but there's so many different ways you can use the Enneagram. I mean, it's all over Instagram if you're interested, but you could come to me for a one-off session and
We'll
learn your
make
type.
sure we'll make sure there's a link in the show notes for them to
But I've
connect with
just been,
you.
yeah, I've been passionate about it mostly because I think it's eye-opening. It helps you understand yourself and helps you remove the bottlenecks sometimes that you are your own worst, can be your own worst blockade. And so it helped me understand what am I letting block my way into growing and becoming more joyful, more passionate, more, and I think it can help everyone, right? Because each of us, all those nine types have one thing that kind of gets them stuck. And so helping to help you understand that and then how to change that in your life if that's what you want. So it's great.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too and highlight it, right? It's knowing more about yourself.
Yeah.
That self-awareness doesn't mean that I have to even do a lot with it. It just means I know who I am. I
Mhm.
know why I react the way I do or
Yeah.
procrastinate or you know,
Right.
and then you become more self-aware to make
Hmm.
conscious decisions.
Hmm.
Conscious decisions is another C in the C's. This is like a sea of C's since I started doing the work with the C's. Anyway, but absolutely empowering.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
And what we see on the surface is so little. Oh my gosh, there goes the iceberg comparison again, right? It's
yes.
just the tip of the iceberg, even what we see about ourselves
Yeah.
on the surface in the mirror
Hmm.
compared to what's deep inside
Yeah.
in our subconscious, in our heart, in our soul. And these
Yeah.
tools are helping us to tap into that.
Yeah, I think for me, it really helped me like accept those parts of me that I would always try to hide from people and to say everything belongs there. And so how do I make that, part of my whole self? And then the iceberg piece of you don't have to do anything with what's under the iceberg, but it's helpful to know yourself much more. And so I think it's so helpful, even if you just start learning about it. So mhm.
And it just reminds me of the strength finder philosophy as well, right? We all have weaknesses, and the strength finder was about saying, stop dwelling on your
Yeah.
weaknesses
Hmm.
and focus on your strengths. So
Yeah.
the Enneagram is another tool to dive deeper into that conversation as well as, okay, yeah, I'm really strong over here and maybe too strong for some people in this area,
Yeah.
right? And how do I soften that? And how do I, let go of those things that are weaknesses and find somebody else to do them for me?
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. Okay, tell me about life mapping. Can you
Yeah.
walk us through a little bit about what that's about?
Yes, I can. So several years ago, I learned about this company, and they do a training on the life mapping process. So they have 8 different maps, all from like your life now, so like a overall assessment, all the way to your peaks in your life, your valleys, your life-giving rhythms that you want to incorporate. And by the end of the process, if you do the maps in order, you'll have kind of a map that sums it all up and helps you understand, okay, what could be next for my purpose or my passion? And so the questions are all unique. So each map is one session. And the idea behind the maps is there's powerful questions in the map, but then there's also this idea of listening for what God is saying, uh, about those pieces. And so there's a discernment process of, okay, God is trying to say some things. And then I did it with a group. I launched it with a group coaching situation. And so what we did is we actually shared, each of us, it was a small group, and the whole idea, there's part of the curriculum is that there's a teaching on how to do this well. Because as women, we tend to like jump in and want to fix the thing that people are talking about. And they warned against that. They said, just listen so the person can tell their story. And then if you feel like God is telling you to say something, then ask for permission to do that. So we practiced that. That was really hard for us. I did it with a group of gals that I've done a lot of group coaching sessions with. And so we were very familiar with each other. So we had to kind of keep our feet to the fire with it. But the idea behind it is to kind of chart your life. Like the first one's like my life now. The second one map is really just tracing your life story 20 years at a time. And
Mm.
then reflecting back to see where have you seen God work, where have you seen your passions come up. And so each map is designed to help you understand, reflect on those things intentionally instead of, I think a lot of times we have this whole life story behind us and we don't really access it at all. Like we're just like
Yeah.
another day. And so this helps you kind of just be reflective about your life. And then like even tying that into the passion test, it helps you understand you'll be have these ahas. So this is a place where I was really passionate about that, or I was really good at this one thing. And so um, I really love this curriculum because it leans to coaching and spiritual direction a lot more and helps women just kind of have these aha moments of, oh, that was happening in my life. And maybe I need to bring that back. Or maybe there's a piece of that that helps me understand what my passion is today. So I have been using it really to help women who want that extra next step. Because a lot of times, um, faith-driven women tend to like, okay, I'm gonna go to a Bible study. I'm gonna like journal about it. I'm gonna ask my friends about it. And a lot of times then sometimes they find answers there, but sometimes they need more of a guide. So I'm positioning myself as a guide through the eight life maps, right? Of
Oh, I love that.
helping women, just guiding them through, okay, what is God saying? What are you saying? What is your inner gut telling you? How do we build the confidence of hearing from God and trusting your inner gut together so that you can be brave enough to take one little step toward that today. So, yeah.
I love that.
Hmm.
What came to my mind as you were explaining was hindsight is 2020.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so looking back over the journey of your life and finding the commonalities, finding the transitions, seeing the growth. Because I talk about a lot. What do we do when we achieve a goal? We
Hmm.
set another one. We set another one. We set another one.
Hmm.
Always putting ourselves in the struggle of
Hmm.
achieving something and rarely celebrating our achievements along the way.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's 100% true. So this actually helps gals do that, right? Of just
I love
saying, what happened? How do I celebrate this? My favorite maps are the peaks and the valleys. I love the peaks because it just reminds us what are some things that you know, you did well or you received recognition for or you really loved. And then the valleys is like, what can get in my way? And sometimes even I believe that our valleys are meant to be invitations to, right? Like God is already still working in the valleys as well as the peaks. And so mushing that together because they come right after one another in the curriculum. But so I really love all the maps. I think they're colorful and you can do
Sounds
drawing.
like fun.
Yeah. So
I think we need to do another retreat together, Danielle.
okay, let's do it. I'd love to. Yeah. So
That's co-creating, my friends. And I do that just like
yes.
that, and Danielle and I will work on this. We will make it happen, no doubt,
Yeah.
because that sounds fascinating.
Yeah.
It's reminding me in my life that I can look back and see all the times I brought up or had the opportunity to be a teacher.
Mm,
And
mhm,
it wasn't, well, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe that I went, oh my gosh, I'm a teacher.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
finally owned it from a feng shui session where they identified my signs as a teacher. And I'm like, I am, aren't I? Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
yeah.
Because when I
Yeah.
was a kid, a junior in high school, I thought I was supposed to go be a teacher, and my dad told me to go do something else.
Oh,
Well, this
interesting.
is how people help you too, my friends. So
Yeah.
watch just sharing with your friends. Sometimes you need an outside perspective because
Yeah.
out of the love in his heart, Dad was saying, I want more for you. He
Mhm.
raised seven children on a teacher's salary back in the 60s, right? They made
Mhm.
even less than they do now. And so he was challenged financially, right? And he was saying to me, no, go do something else that
Yeah.
will be better for you. But the truth of the matter is, teaching is at my heart. I do
Yeah.
it in a completely different way. I'm not at a high school like he was, but I
Hmm.
am a teacher by nature.
Yeah. And the flip side can be true. Like I took one of those career aptitude tests in high school and it said teaching was the lowest thing on my, you know, skill set. But all of that has changed through the course of my life where I see myself as a teacher now as well. And so sometimes we also need the insight of what we thought was true back then is not true today. So about yourself. So I love
Right.
it. Love both of those. Hmm.
Love it.
Hmm.
Yes, and that discernment is a powerful word to me right now, right? And
Yeah.
being able to discern which voices to listen to. We're used to listening to the monkey mind in our head.
Yes.
Would you agree with me if I said that those voices that are negative are not the ones to listen to?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we're all listening to the monkey mind every once in a while, like a lot, right?
Well, yeah,
And
we gotta, it's never going away. It's a
right.
constant
So,
ability
but
to reframe it.
yes, so intentionally reframing, intentionally choosing what's true instead of what you think might be true. I have a coach friend, and she always says, "Don't let your first thought be your last thought." With the idea of, like a lot of times, our first thought is not, it's not good,
Right.
right? I'm failing at this,
Well,
or I'm walking into a room of strangers and everyone's looking at me, or it can be a number of things that stops you in your tracks. So understanding that, challenging that thought and reframing. I usually tell my gals to find either like Bible verses or affirmations that can help them. I've done it for myself lately a lot of times because I'm revamping my business and then putting it back out there. And so sometimes I come home and I think I didn't explain that well, or people looked at me like I was crazy. And then I need to reframe that for myself of like, you can't get stuck there. And so I think it's really, I have a tool, coaching tool that I use with my group coaching clients, which is um, your inner critic and your inner champion. So I make them draw a drawing of what their inner critic looks like and like what the inner critic is saying. And then on the flip side, you can, if you're not a person of faith, you can call it your inner champion. So what do you want to say to yourself in those moments to combat the inner critic? A lot of times I have my gals who are faith driven, I have them find verses that combat the inner critic. But either way, like even if that you're not a person of faith, but you want to be an inner champion, you need to have those things at the ready where you're battling that. And so I think that's really important, like you said, to reframe. So
I love that language, inner champion. Another C. Thank you so much. That's excellent.
how many C's are we up to?
Yeah, well, there's plenty. Anyway, wanted to point out that I think it's something like 80 to 90% of our self-talk is negative.
Mm-hmm.
So you really got to keep that in check.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, that's mindset.
Mm-hmm.
So in PMC events, my company, that stands for Positive Mindset Coach, for
Mm-hmm.
those that may not know, right? Mindset is so important,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
To be whole and complete in ourselves is the only way we can be whole and complete and successful in our businesses as well. right? And so all of this work is good for your business. It may seem like life conversation and life coaching, but all of it speaks to your business. And especially when you're following your passions
Mhm.
in your business and wanting to monetize them, which is why Make Your Passions Pay podcasts exist to help people take that shift from just doing something to make money, doing what they're passionate about to make money. And I
Yeah.
believe, I got to tell you a quick story. I believe that you can make money doing anything if you want to.
Mhm.
The My friend told me about a couple of guys who painted graffiti all over the uh city buildings in his community that needed to look better, right? They were making a contribution and they weren't making any money doing that. Restaurant chain came along that wanted graffiti inside their restaurants as their decor, and they get $50,000 a pop for every restaurant they graffiti. Okay?
Wow.
Use it as inspiration, folks.
Yes. I love it.
I mean, I could go on with lists of other things I've heard that you go, really? You
Yeah.
know, who'd have thunk that you got paid for that? But there you go, right? So I just want people to dream. We want to
Yeah.
help people feel supported and get unstuck, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Bring them
Absolutely.
clarity. And like I said, if you're a woman of faith and you want to dive in with Danielle, we're going to make sure that her links for her social media and her one coaching session to dip your toe in the water, as they say. And of course, you always know where to find me. luannb.com, and there's a free consultation, and watch for my new quiz coming out.
Ooh,
Quiz on how your business is really doing and self-evaluation. And if you need help, please check us out. Be real out there, be vulnerable, be transparent. That's what the world is looking for. Real. Everyone's questioning what's real. Danielle and I are real. Come see us. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have a great day. Thanks, Danielle.
thank you.
Hey, everybody, thank you for tuning in to Make Your Passion Pay. If today's episode inspired you, I'd love for you to subscribe, leave a rating, and share your thoughts in a review. Every listener makes a difference in spreading this mission of joy and purpose. Want to take the next step? Share this episode with your friends, colleagues, or anyone looking to build a thriving, values-driven workplace. Together, we can create communities where passion fuels success. Until next time, remember, when you lead with joy, you inspire greatness. Let's keep making your passion pay.